Our feet. They take us places. They allow us to exercise and play. And yet for many, they can be a source of embarrassment. We avoid talking about it, we hide it as best we can. But over 25 million Americans suffer from toenail fungus. Called onychomycosis, this infection can cause nails to turn yellow, thicken, and over time they can become brittle. Fungal infections can be caught in common places like the gym, swimming pools, and nail salons. They may cause pain and are often embarrassing.
I first noticed I had toenail fungus about 10 years ago, and it was very embarrassing to me. I was self-conscious about it. I didn't wear certain shoes. I always had to have a perfect pedicure. I would never just go out with a pair of flip-flops on unless my toes were completely covered with nail polish, and it made me self-conscious all summer long.
My toenails were quite unsightly. My wife called them inhuman. They were really in bad shape.
By the time most people turn to their doctor, they have already tried over-the-counter topical treatments or oral medications with little success.
And I've tried various creams, and then as an adult I tried oral medication, and I didn't like the side effects because it had something to do with your liver and I had to go for monthly blood work.
About 10 years ago, I did 3 rounds of the oral treatment. And I was nervous about that because you did have to have a blood test and worry about an adverse effect on your liver. But I was desperate to try to correct the problem, so I went through it 3 times. It was quite expensive, and I had no success with it.
Many people turn to their doctor convinced they will have to live with ugly nails for the rest of their lives. If you are embarrassed by the appearance of your nails, there is a new solution. Genesis Plus Laser Therapy. Genesis Plus is a fast procedure that takes your doctor approximately 20 minutes to perform. It's very tolerable, requires no anesthesia or numbing medicine, and there is no downtime following the procedure. Genesis Plus is a safe and effective procedure that does not require a lifestyle change or regular blood tests to monitor liver function. Unlike systemic oral medications, laser therapy is applied directly to the affected area. And while topical treatments are unable to penetrate the nail, laser energy from Genesis Plus penetrates deeply, allowing uniform heating to all involved areas. After 3 to 6 months, healthy new nail growth can be seen. Some people may require more than one laser procedure. The number of sessions depends on the patient and the severity of the fungal infection. Your doctor will advise you on how many procedures your nails need. Following the laser session, you can immediately resume your normal activities. Preventive maintenance may be recommended, so be sure to follow any post-procedure guidelines your doctor recommends to minimize your chance of reinfection.
With this particular treatment, I made the appointment, I came in, 15 minutes later I was finished, and I can go back to my regular activity. I don't have to have any special shoes on or do anything different. I just go back to putting my shoes on. It's easier than a pedicure.
The Genesis Plus laser is indicated for the temporary increase of clear nail in patients with onychomycosis or nail fungus. The laser can also be used to treat warts and reduce scars. Ask your physician if Genesis Plus is right for you.
Anybody who asks me about this problem, trust me, not too many people talk about it, but if they do ask me, I'll recommend Genesis Plus laser. It's been very simple.
Ingrown toenails are the most common nail problem we see in the office. An ingrown occurs when the nail border begins to grow into the adjacent skin. They can cause pain, swelling, redness, and infection, and should be treated promptly. The good thing is an ingrown procedure can be done the same day as your appointment. A small procedure is done to remove the border of the nail. Pain is minimal afterwards, and people are back to normal activity within 1 to 2 days. If you think you have an ingrown, call our office for an appointment.
Hammer toes are contractures or bending of the joints of the smaller toes. Hammer toes are typically caused by faulty mechanics of the foot, muscle tendon imbalance, or a previously broken toe. Hammer toes are progressive in nature. They start out as flexible and become rigid over time. Some typical conservative treatments include padding of the toe and the joint and splints to help keep the toe in alignment. Once the hammer toe becomes rigid and locked, surgery is usually needed to straighten the toe out. Hammer toes are progressive in nature, and therefore early treatment is definitely recommended. So if you feel you have a hammer toe, call Portsmouth Foot and Ankle today. Plantar fasciitis or heel pain is one of the more common problems we see here at Portsmouth Foot and Ankle. The plantar fascia is located on the bottom of the foot from the base of the toes to the heel bone. It is typically the band in the arch that becomes tight over time. As the band tightens, it starts to tear away from the heel bone. This brings inflammation and pain. There are many treatments for plantar fasciitis, including icing, stretching, cortisone injections, night splints, fascial splints, physical therapy, and custom orthotics. If you believe you are suffering from heel pain or plantar fasciitis, you don't want to wait to seek treatment. When plantar fasciitis becomes chronic, surgery is usually needed. If you believe you have plantar fasciitis, call us today to make an appointment.
A variety of injuries can happen during sporting events. They can range from acute, such as fractures and sprains, to chronic, such as tendonitis and stress fractures. Either way, sports injuries should not be treated lightly. Initial treatment should include rest, ice, compression, elevation, and not weight bearing on the foot if it's too painful. Time and immobilization are key factors in treating these injuries. Return to activity too soon, you may cause slow or improper healing. If you think you've suffered a sports-related injury, call our office for an evaluation as soon as possible.